What is going on, everybody? Got some good feedback that you liked seeing me break down some tour player swings. So we're going to do it again. We're going to learn maybe one of the, if not the most important thing that any club player should know today by looking at Jordan Spieth's golf swing from this past weekend. Hey everybody, Scott Hogan coming at you. We're here. We're going to be breaking it down. Good thing to do because the weather here in Chicago has been awful. We had snow and all that just yesterday, so that's awesome. But does mean we get to kind of break down and get our thoughts together on swings and how we're going to be doing some things as we go forward with the season. And if you have any questions, please make sure you leave comments down below. And we're going to go over Jordan Spieth's swing at the RBC Heritage this past weekend and go through kind of what he's been doing. I've had a lot of questions about his move of late and what he's trying to do. So again, I think a really important concept that people could actually take away from it that they could apply into their own game. So let's go ahead. We're going to take a look at his swing here. Okay. We've got two things up here. We've got one on the right. This is actually his swing. Shout out Force Choi Golf. He had this posted. And then my TPI posted his 3D data. So we've talked about 3D in the past. This is something that pros do quite a bit. TPI does it with a system called AMM, which I have used before, which is good. It's just a little clunky with wires and stuff. You'll see a lot of people do it with gears now, or like Sportsbox, which is what I will use currently. What we're looking at is a couple of things. I'll go over his 3D data here in a sec, but the thing that people will notice the most in Jordan's swing is his routine, right? So when he starts his routine, he does this little weird little over the top looking move thing. Okay. So here's his actual swing. Okay. Let's play that through. What we're seeing with Jordan, you have to understand where Jordan has been to understand what he's doing. Okay, so I was fortunate enough to meet with and talk to his coach. This would have been in 2014, I believe, maybe 2013, Cameron McCormick. And he showed me some of Jordan Spieth's swings from when he first started working and when he was like 12 years old. And Jordan Spieth has always been somebody that, you know, he wasn't the biggest kid at the time. He's now like 6'1". He's pretty big. But what would happen is he would be way too underplane. He would swing too into out, and he was hitting fairly big draw ball flights. And also his body, because of its size at the time, he would actually kind of jump up a lot in his swing, kind of like an early extender, but you know, he obviously could make it work, and he played this kind of very sizable draw, you know, gets more yards. He knew what it was going to do, all of that. On the left here, we can actually show you kind of what that looks like because he still has some of that going on through his swing. So obviously the top here is kind of the 3D avatar of his swing. So we'll just kind of stop it as we go. So as we bring it back, you can see he goes back. He stays pretty centered as he turns back. He gets a very big turn to the top. You're going to see him shift forward. And right here, you're going to see this is kind of what he fights. He's going to start leaning back, and he's actually going to be working up through his swing. Look at that lead foot coming off of the ground the way it does. He is actually, that is one of the reasons, like if you see his swing, he has that chicken winging motion as he goes through where he chicken wings on the way through. And this is what starts shoving the path for him way too far out to the right. And then he has a hard time controlling where that ball is going to go. He will fight really big lefts and really big blocks. So obviously that's not what you want. You can also see down here on the bottom, just to kind of show you it, this is a rotational graph. It's called the kinematic sequence. It's basically looking at how your hips, the pelvis, your torso, your arm, it's really your lead arm, and the club, how they are kind of organizing themselves throughout. So you can see as he's coming in and he starts his swing down, you can see that green line as it moves. That's where we are at in the swing. So as it comes on through, you know, this is it. Okay. So you can see as he starts the swing, one of the things I think a lot of people think is, oh, I've got to lead with my hips. I got to fire with my hips. You can actually see as he's starting down, all of these lines are moving together. He is actually starting everything down together. One thing is not starting down more than the other. Okay. They will start to fan out. That's the way it works. But that is something I think a lot of people think, oh, I've got to fire my hips. I got to fire my hips. I don't see that as much as what people, say as they go through. Okay. So anyway, this 3D stuff, that's kind of just giving you kind of a look as we go through. The rest of it into this line is into impact. You can see everything, his hips are going, but then they slow down. His torso's speeding up and then it slows down. His arm is going and then it slows down, and what that does is let the club kind of fly by as he goes into impact. That's what you want. You want everything slowing down so the club can fly by and just smash the ball. All right. So anyway, let's get into the swing a little bit more. So now that we know where he was and where he's trying to get away from was, he wants to get to a more of a fade bias swing. Okay. So what does that mean? We've got to get the path shifted more to the left. So for him, this means we need to get more rotation throughout the swing. He wants to be turning and moving the club a little bit more to the left throughout this swing. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, if he's going to do this, this is the most important thing that I can tell anybody about their golf swing and when they're working with me. For him to feel like he does that, he has to do this rehearsal, this over-the-top move that feels like he is doing this crazy over-the-top swinging to the left move, basically like what a bad player would do, right? Like a bad handicap, high handicap over-the-top slicer. He has to feel like he does that. Now, when he feels like he does that, look at what happens to his swing, okay? This is where we go, brings it back pretty nice. So he doesn't bring it back super inside like he did before. I mean, that club works down. It's right in the slot. You can already see his body's opening up slightly and working through a little better where he's turning. That's it. It's not so crazy different from where it used to be. It is a definitely different motion. I like what he's doing, but the number one thing that sets pros apart from club players are afraid to exaggerate. They won't do it. They have this idea in their head of muscle memory. Okay, they think, all right, I'm going to swing. I got to swing exactly the way I'm supposed to, and that my muscles are somehow going to kind of get formed into this pattern, and that's how they're going to want to move. It's a very, very flawed way of thinking, because what ends up happening is, yes, maybe for, 15, 20 minutes, your muscles kind of get pliable and move, and they just kind of form into a shape of where they are going. But that will go away as soon as you stop. Now, what it really is neural pathways. Your brain is telling you how to put force into club, how to put force and with your arms, your hands, your body, with everything that controls everything, right? You have to make swings that are different enough so your brain can differentiate between what you're trying to do. So if you're a extreme over the top swinger, you have to take this beyond. Is in your practice swings especially, you have to take it beyond where you think you need to go. In your actually hitting balls on the range, you have to take it beyond where you think you need to go, because your brain needs to differentiate between the two different movement patterns. Now, this isn't just made up. A great book, if you're interested in the science behind it, this is a good starter's book, Attention to Motor Skill Learning by Gabrielle Wolf. It's a good one if you want to start kind of getting into it. There's plenty of other resources that I've read that will kind of verify that, but it's a good little easier one to kind of get through. But you have to make things different. And so that's where, if you can learn something from what Spieth's doing, as long as you understand why he's doing what he's doing, okay? I think a lot of people are like, hey, what the heck is he doing? Well, he is trying to change his pattern. This is how the pattern is trying to be changed. And he is realizing, hey, I have to make absolutely really big, exaggerated practice swings to make sure I can register what the change is. That is true for everybody. That is what most people won't do because they're afraid they might do it wrong. You won't do it wrong. And if you go too far, guess what? It's super easy to move back a little bit to get back to where you want. But honestly, it just never ever happens. Nobody is willing to push themselves far enough with the exaggerations to get where they need to go. All right, so that is his breakdown of Spieth's swing. I do like the way he's hitting it. He is absolutely crushing it with his full swing game. Putter, little bit spotty at times, which we saw. So I would expect to see him contending, though, especially at a place like St. Andrews. If he could just get the putter really working, I think we see him win a few more times this year. He's really hitting it well. So we'll see what he's got. But if you have any questions about it, please leave comments down below. If you like the videos, please let me know. And as always, thanks for watching. Click that subscribe button if you're not a subscriber already. And we will see you in future videos. Peace. Thank you.